Today is going to be a rant video, so if you don't like those, you should probably click off now. Hello everybody, welcome to Jordan's Corner. Today, as I said, is going to be a little more serious today. I've just been thinking a lot about this and a lot of other things going on in the media this week, and I feel like I have to address this. I have to talk about it because I'm furious, and literally it's all I could think about last night. You've probably already guessed it, but I've been thinking about the riots and the protests happening in Ferguson, Missouri right now, and again, I'm just beyond furious. I'm pissed. I am pissed at America. I'm pissed at the police in Ferguson, Missouri. I am pissed. What happened was there was Mike Brown, 17-year-old African-American teenager, and he was walking out of a convenience store when he was stopped by police, and he was unarmed, put his hands up like you're supposed to if there's a cop pulling up at the scene. So he was doing everything he was told, and what happens is police officer guns him down, unarmed. To gun down a teenager, no matter their race, gender, and they were unarmed, and they weren't doing anything, they were following the law like they should, they were following instructions. To shoot them down, that's just despicable. And from what I know about police officers, they are there to uphold the law, not gun down innocent people because they can. And from what I know about police officers, I don't know about the oaths they take, all of that, but I do know that police officers are supposed to uphold the law and keep the peace, not shoot down innocent teenagers. I think in the wake of stuff like the Trayvon Martin, all of that in this last year, I think that's why I'm pissed, because this keeps happening and nobody's doing anything about it. And what I think is funny is in the last couple days, they've been releasing information saying how he stole some cigars. Now, where was this information at the beginning when this first happened? This was not included anywhere that he stole anything from this convenience store. These are some details that popped up later. You know, crucial details that changed the case. They just slip in days later. Oh, and by the way, we saw him steal cigars. We have security cameras. And let's just talk about the security cameras for a minute. I saw a picture in the article today of the security photos they had from the convenience store. And I will tell you, the man pictured who was intimidating a smaller man, wherever this was, those pictures are not Mike Brown. That is not a teenage boy, that is a full-grown man. And I'll post the pictures right here to let you see. I'll post a picture of the security photo and a Mike Brown, so you can just compare and contrast. But I feel like now there's even bigger controversy over the riots that happened after and the protests against the police. Let's just start off with the police. They had pictures show up that have shocked people all across the country of these police officers in this town in Missouri, you know, just a Midwest town. And these police officers have armed vehicles and machine guns and camo and weapons, all this riot gear, all this stuff that many soldiers have commented you see in Iraq. You see armor and weapons that they would use on the battlefield in Iraq in Ferguson, Missouri. And what's even funnier is these soldiers are commenting that they're even overdressed for what normal soldiers wear. They said a lot of the times the soldiers are not even that heavily armed. That is outrageous. Who decided to have them carry all this weaponry around and have all these armed vehicles in a small town in Missouri? That is just absolute fuckery. Honestly, at this point, whoever is the police chief of that force should be fired. You have to take in, when you put out orders like that, the message you're sending when you send all these people out against the community. These people will see that retaliation, and what do you think is going to happen? These people are going to get pissed and they're going to protest, and it's going to carry on. You're fueling the fire. And what is that message being sent across the country? This militarization of these police officers for no reason. And then there's the other side of that. There's the community that got together and they were protesting, And they're basically saying that majority of the police officers in that force in Ferguson, Missouri are white. That's an important thing to point out. It doesn't make it look good either that majority of the police force in that area is white. So a lot of these protesters were saying that basically this boy was shot down, a white police officer shot him down because he was black. And that's what they were assuming, and it looks like that. I would not blame them. That's what the situation looked like. An unarmed African American was shot by an older white man because of the way he looked and that situation he was put in. Shot him unarmed, no questions. And you have to think with the Trayvon Martin case, a lot of people were speculating what would happen if the roles were switched and it was a white male, and what would happen then? Would he have gotten shot down unarmed? I think it's frustrating to me how with these protesters are assembling peacefully and carrying out this protest peacefully, yet they are throwing tear gas at them, and they're shooting rubber bullets. And they're shooting these rubber bullets and throwing the tear gas at women and children. That's another thing. That is completely inappropriate. Women and children. What police officer, like, if you were a police officer there, how would you feel shooting a rubber bullet at a child? Morally, in your conscience, would you feel okay with that, shooting a rubber bullet at a young child? You should be ashamed of yourself. And then there's pictures that came out, and the police officers were basically saying, oh, they're throwing Molotovs at us. Molotovs, basically like you light this liquor bottle and throw it. And they were firing back. No, basically what they were doing, they were throwing back the tear gas that they threw at them. These police officers initiated all this violence. That's the thing, they're blaming these protesters, but the police officers are initiating the violence. And that just drives me insane. And then, of course, with all events, if there's a huge event like that happening, a natural disaster, a protest, of course, the media is going to come in from all across the country and they're going to want to report on it. So they had Huffington Post, they had all these people coming in, reporters from online, from cable television, local media, and they had helicopters around. So what does the police force do? They decide to block airspace. In Ferguson, Missouri, they block the airspace, and they also start not only arresting reporters for doing their job and covering the news, they also start throwing tear gas at them and shooting their bullets, just like the protesters. And they start injuring these innocent reporters who are just there doing their job, reporting the news, reporting the events that are happening in our country. I just wonder, in this type of situation, whatever happened to freedom of speech, right to protest, freedom of assembly? We just seem to forget about all of that and just focus on right to bear arms. We have this Constitution and Bill of Rights in our country, but now it seems like we just use it as a guideline instead of the law. Thankfully, though, the news has still gotten out because these police officers don't understand that even though they ban these reporters and they ban the airspace and block all these local media people out, it is 2014 and many people have smartphones and other devices where they can record videos and text and tweet and upload stuff on Facebook, Instagram, Vine. The information is still going to get out there. Personally, I think it's stupid that these police officers would think that arresting these reporters would keep the news from getting out. I mean, majority of the media in 2014, a lot of people get their news online. Thankfully, in the last couple days, we finally had state officials come in and end all this madness and chaos. We had the highway police step in, and they're taking control of this police force. From the pictures I've seen in the last day, the police force now looks a lot less militarized, and it seems like they're letting the people protest. They're handling the situation in a more peaceful manner and trying to improve their non-existent, I'm not even going to say broken, their non-existent relationship with the community around them in Ferguson. If they think that before this happened, if the relationship and the trust was bad between the people in that community and the police force, oh, it's fucked now. It's completely non-existent. I think all of this now just brings up this important discussion of why all these black males are getting shot down and how this keeps happening again and again in 2014. I keep saying 2014, but you have to think we're in this modern age now, and we're still wondering why all this racism is still present. I don't know why in 2014, why we can't respect people based on their gender, their sexuality, their race. We'll get this, America, very shortly. We are going to be the minority in this country. That's right. White Americans will become the minority. So whether you like it or not, America is a melting pot, and other races and other nationalities are here to stay. If we're at the point that's 2014, and we are still bringing these racist ideas into the media, projecting it on children, and justifying it and making it okay, then that is an issue. It is not okay to shoot somebody unarmed without reason. It is not okay to execute somebody without trial. It was not okay for him to shoot and kill Mike Brown. It was not okay to shoot and kill Trayvon Martin. It is clear, blatant racism, and it needs to stop. I'm really sorry to make this video, and I know it's kind of an angry rant, but I'm pissed and I'm mad. Everybody should be pissed about this. The reason we need to share it is because we need to make it known in our country and to our government officials that we are not okay with this as Americans. As a whole, we are not okay with this, and something needs to change. So please, if you see articles about it, read these articles, be informed, get educated about this issue in Ferguson, Missouri, and also share these articles, get the word out. Facebook, tweet, Instagram, everything. Get the word out. We need to send the message that racism is not allowed in 2014. I send out prayers to the family of Mike Brown, especially his mother, who I saw in the news clips. I also send out prayers to all the protesters in Ferguson. I support you. We need to raise awareness and spread justice and the message of peace so that an incident like Mike Brown does not happen again. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys next Saturday.